Hello, everyone. My name is Bettina, and I am the founder of Ladies United BC. And normally, beside me, the co-founder of Ladies United BC would sit, Katalin, but she's unfortunately sick again today. And with us from Sweden, she is not here in the chat, but she is always with us. We have Nora Guslander with us. So today is actually going to be our last Ladies United Boxing chat this year. And it's also the last chat of the Ladies United Boxing coach theme that we have. Yes, and remember that you can always go into our YouTube channel to watch the previous Ladies United Boxing chats. And there will also be links here on the page and also links on our Facebook profile. But let's start the chat for today. We have one of my really good friend, Lina Skoghagen from Sweden. We met in 2017, and since that actually we have been at the same training camps, we've been at the same tournaments, but we never talked or never met each other in the ring. And then a few months ago, I got an offer to go with her in Sweden with the Swedish national team for a training camp, and we fell in good talk. And from that moment, we started having a good cooperation, both here with Ladies United BC and her in Sweden, but also me working together with the Danish National Boxing Federation and her with the Swedish National Boxing Federation. So today we meet a boxer or boxing coach. She's a former national Swedish boxer. She's a boxing coach in Höllviken Boxing Club. And she is also the boxing coach for the Swedish youth and junior national team. So let's invite an amazing person into the chat. Let me find her. We are just waiting on her.
Hi.
Lina. Nice.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm also good. How was your weekend?
It was good. I was actually yesterday in Trollhättan in Sweden at a competition, the first in 7-8 months. So I was there with two boxers. And we got two good fights. Unfortunately, we lost, but we met strong opponents. So, but it's good to be ongoing again.
So that's actually, can that be the first tournament in Sweden since Corona?
Yeah, I think so. It was not like a tournament, just one day competition. I think it was 5 real fights or something and 7 diploma fights. So yeah.
Nice. I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, me too.
I have a question here let's start with the beginning.
Yes.
You started boxing kind of late, actually.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about how did you come into boxing and why boxing? And when you entered the boxing gym the first time, what was your impression of boxing?
Actually, I started boxing earlier than many people think, but only training, not competition. I played bowling when I was younger. I think I started when I was 9, and then I quit when I was 13. And then I thought that I needed to train something more serious. So then I started boxing. I saw boxing on television and thought that I need to try it out. So I went to a club in Malmö, and I think I trained there for 1 year, once a week.
How old were you?
I was around 13. 13, okay. 14. Yeah. But then I had no thoughts about competing or something. It was just for the training. And then I quit there. And then during my when I was a teenager, I did a lot of dancing and all that. And then when I was around 16, I started boxing again at another club in Malmö. And that was the first time when I started thinking about competition. and competing in boxing. But the trainer there didn't like believe in me, so I quit again after like 8 months. And then when I was 18, I started in Höllviken, and from the first day, they believed in me, and there I started my competing career.
So that was actually like a lot of on and off in boxing.
Actually, yeah. So when I came to Höllviken, I knew boxing, like the training part, but I didn't know how to think boxing, and that was a big difference in Höllviken if you compare to other clubs. That Höllviken taught me how to think boxing and how to box, not just hit. That you need to think.
So you talked about the club you were at in Malmö. He didn't believe in you, the coach.
No.
And then you turned into like a Höllviken.
Yeah.
What was the major difference from when you entered in Malmö and then you entered the club in Höllviken?
The big difference was like the trainers saw you, and they didn't made any difference of me and the other boxers that has been training there for a lot of years. They gave me like exactly the same time, and they saw me from the beginning, and they asked me what I wanted, and I said that I want to compete. And then they was like, yeah, but then we can help you with that. So that was the big difference. Yeah.
And how old are you today?
Now I'm 27.
So you started like boxing for real when you were 18?
Yeah. So 2011.
Yeah.
But I think I did my first real fight 2012. But during the autumn 2011, I did actually 6 diploma fights for overaged in Sweden. So yeah.
Can you tell about, because there's also sitting a lot of people that's not from the Scandinavian countries. Can you tell about the system, the diploma system? Because you are not like a part of that because you are 18. So you would a lot of girls that have maybe like, let's say like 60 diploma fights, and you should have your first fight.
Yeah, I know. In Sweden, we have like, for the children from 10 to 15, they can't go like real fights. So they need to box diploma fights. And then you can't hit hard. So it's about the technique. So you get different points, depending how good your techniques are. So I got to go 6 fights, diploma fights of this before I went my real first fight. So that was really good, to get some ring feeling before I entered for real.
Yeah. I know always in Denmark, when in Denmark, it's not that big, the diploma fights. It's like you have like maybe 2 or 3 and then you go for real fights. And you can have a real fight. I think it's from the age of 11, I think, in Denmark. So when we meet the Swedish people and it's going to be our first fight, we know that they have like maybe 60 diploma fights before the experience of being in the ring. So it's funny, like when you're Danish and you're from Denmark and you need to go to have your first fight or competition, you meet like a really experienced boxer from Sweden. Yeah. Because you do a lot with these diploma fights. It's like a champion in diploma fights in Sweden.
Yeah, it is. So it's really big. And of course, if you have maybe only 5 or 10 diploma fights, maybe that's not so big experience. But when you have like around 60, 70, and 100 diploma fights, it's a really big experience. So yeah.
Definitely. So can you tell a bit about your boxing journey? Because you started when you were 18. When did you stop boxing?
I quit like 3 years ago, almost exactly. I think it was like in October 2017. So, and I did my last fight in July, I think, 2017. Yeah.
So you had like 5 years of competing?
Yeah, I had 5 years.
It's not that many years of competing. No. If you think about the success you had already in boxing, can you tell a bit about that? Because you started when you were 18, and during like 4 or 5 years, you actually reached the Swedish national team and Europeans.
Yeah, I think it was a lot thanks to Höllviken Boxing Club. When I started there, they had 3 girls that was in the youth national team. Patricia Berghult, Jasmine Nilsson, and Tanja Bengtsson. So I started like training with them, and we also hanged out after trainings and everything. So we were a good, like, how you say, group of people that wanted the same thing. And when I saw them and saw that they could do it, then it was easier for me to believe that I can also do it. So I think it was much about the environment I was in. And also, of course, the trainers believing in me, and a club with possibilities to, travel around and compete and join training camps and that. So before I even got my first fight, I trained like a national team boxer. So I was like doing it before I started. And I decided pretty early that I wanted to reach the national team. So I think that's why it took me there faster.
So when did you reach actually the national team in Sweden?
I did my first fight representing Sweden in 2014 in I think it was a Queen's Cup in Germany, so it must have been in like September, October something. 2014. So 1.5 years after, I think, almost 2 years after I went my first fight.
And I think that's pretty fast if you think about it. You didn't have any junior youth fights. You could just go kind of directly into senior fights, and then doing 1.5 years, you're already on a national team. It's not many people that can say that.
No, I'm really proud of myself that I did that. But I also got many opportunities before I went out with the national team to go out together with the national team, with Patricia and Tanja and Jasmine. When they were competing with the national team, with the Jutes, I got the opportunity to follow and not to represent Sweden, but to represent the club. Because my trainer, he often went with them. So he also brought me. So I was out early in my career and saw the international boxing and saw what it takes. Because it's a big difference. And when you're out for the first time internationally, you see it with your own eyes, and then it's easier to understand it. Because if you haven't seen it, and you just see it the boxing in Sweden or in the Nordics or something, you don't really understand it. So I think that also, made a big impact on my career, and that it got so fast.
So actually, we can for the first career you had, or for the success you got really fast in boxing. So it's the club believed in you.
Yeah.
And the environment was how can you say, an elite environment.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got the experience to go out international. So it's 3 things that really helped you a lot.
Yeah. And then also I was really motivated. And I decided early what I wanted to do. So it was easy to go up early in the mornings and do the trainings and all that. I think that's also a big impact, that you're motivated.
Did you ever compete in other sports before boxing?
Yeah, in bowling when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can you use any of that experience in boxing, the competing part?
No, or maybe because in bowling you need to be it's very it's not so intense, but you need to be very precise. So maybe you can compare that a bit with boxing, but not so much. But of course, competing is competing. So, when you need to focus, it's the same.
But what was it in boxing, how is it called, it gave you the drive?
It's it's hard to explain, but everyone that's into boxing knows the feeling. It's the feeling after a fight. it's like it's an ultimate challenge. You can always be better. Also, there's always things to be better at. So it's like that for me. I think it was the challenge that there's always something you can, be better at.
Yeah. Nice. So why did you stop boxing?
Why did I stop?
Yeah.
I think, like we talked about, I had a intense career, only 5 years of reaching that far that I did. And in the end, it was like, for me, it was a bit too much. I got really tired and I didn't have any motivation in the end because it wasn't fun anymore. I think one mistake that I did was that I wanted too much and I wanted it to happen like too fast. Maybe I should have taken it a little bit slower and let the process has its time, because in the end I was really like tired in my body. And I remember like in 2016 when I went to the European Championships, I was like in like 6 months I had like 2 free days because I also worked full time and I trained like 10 to 12 sessions a week, and I was out competing and training camps and all that. So like when after Europeans, it was like, okay, what now? And then I started like reaching setting the goal for the Swedish Championships in 2017. And then I had a bit lack of motivation during the spring there, but then I was like, okay, I do this. But then after that, it was like, okay, it's not so fun anymore. And then I got a little injury in September 2017, and then it felt like, oh, now I didn't have to train anymore. It was like nice. And when it felt like that, I thought that, okay, I really need to take a break because if I'm gonna do this, I need to do it 100%. And if not, I can't do it. And that's also something I think about boxing, because boxing is a sport that how you say, it's a risk sport. And if you don't do it if you don't do it 100%, and if you don't want it 100%, then you can't do it. Because you need to be 100% when you enter the ring. So that's why I quit. And then, at first I only took a break. But during my break, I started coaching more. And then I got stuck in that instead. So I never turned back.
Wasn't it difficult to stop? Because I know from myself, I also like boxed and then turned into become a coach. And I had like, for many years, my motivation was up and down. And many times I was like, okay, now it's for me time to stop. But then I came into this identity crisis. And I'm like, who am I? Because I was in boxing since I was small.
Yeah, it
took me a long time to figure out, okay, now it's my turn to become a coach or do something else instead. Didn't you have this identity crisis at some point?
Yeah, I had a bit after I got injured there. And it was really hard because I didn't have any purpose. I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because I was used to like having always something to look forward to and something to work on. And if I lost the fight, I could get like sad, but then I had a new fight focusing on. And so it was always something that kept me going. But I think that I started coaching pretty early. I started coaching our diploma fighters in my club in the beginning of my career. So coaching and competing myself has always like been side to side. So when I stopped competing myself, I stayed, but I just changed to coaching. So I think I got the same thing from coaching that I got from competing myself, because I was still in the competing game, or how you say it. So, and then it didn't took so long that the national team asked me if I wanted to, work with the national youth and junior girls. And then I also got the whole traveling part and competing in international level. So I don't know. I think I get almost the same from coaching that I do from competing myself, but even more actually, because I get to be a part of like more journeys and more fights, and not just like myself. You don't see your own how do you say, you don't see your own process. But you can see the boxers you coach. You can see their process and where they start and where they are now. That drives me.
And maybe that's a bit for me. It's a bit more like enjoyable, isn't it? Called that to see my boxers succeed, because sometimes I was under so much pressure when I was a boxer that I didn't have time to stop up and breathe and enjoy it.
No.
And now I have the whole feeling with the boxers now. I can enjoy it at the same time with them and celebrate their successes, and also when it's sad, be there with them on another level.
Yeah.
Then you started becoming a coach, and you started in the club you were boxing in, Höllviken, as a coach.
Yes.
How long time did you coach there before the national team called you in to become a coach? Because what did you feel when they called you?
I was like so happy. I almost cried, and it was like because I always had like I've always liked to coach people. It's like I also work with children and youths, so I always thought about coaching when I was boxing myself. Also, I said to myself, when I quit my boxing career, I'm gonna be a coach. And it would be really cool to like coach the national team. But for me, I thought it was like maybe 5-10 years in the future and not like now. So I was so happy and honored when they called me and asked if I wanted to have the job. So it actually meant more for me than my own success in boxing. So I was really happy. And I think it was like not a year after, but like maybe 7-8 months after I quit that they asked me. But then I didn't start until the beginning of 2019. So they asked me in 2018 and I started in 2019 because I needed to complete with my educations. We have like from step 1 to step 4 trainer education in Sweden. So I had just gone 2 when they asked me, I think, because I started going them when I quit as a boxer. So that's...
It's really inspiring for me. We have had the talks before, but I still want to mention to the other people, like, you started boxing when you were 18, like for real. And then during 1.5 years, you go on the national team, and you have like a whole career on the national team for 5 years, like 4 years then around. And then you quit, you become a coach in your club, and you're there for like a year or something, and then you become a national team coach. What is it in you, like, help you with, it's something in you that get this success, and you get it like pretty fast. What is it?
I don't know, but I think when I decide to do something, I do it like with my whole heart. I do it 100%. And I also do it like I do it because I'm passionate about it, and not just for like showing myself or something. I do it because I really want it in my heart. And I think that's also shown to other people. They see that. There is a drive to do something. So
What can you take with you from your career of boxing into being a boxing coach?
I take like a lot of things with me. Like I said, only the opportunity to like go internationally and see like the best boxers in the world, and like also see that they're like regular people just like me and you and all the others. I've also like seen some of the boxers that are now the best boxers in the world. I've seen them for like 5 years ago, going out in the first fight, losing, and like they're nothing special, but today they're like the best boxers in the world. So I know that it takes time to be the best. And I try to always like tell the boxers I coach that they need to have like trust in the process, and it takes time, and that they shouldn't stress. And if I like compare to myself, I think that was my mistake, that I wanted it to happen now. So I try to show my boxers that give it time and trust the process.
Yeah, because I could imagine at some point if I would be a boxer, I would be like motivated to do the same as you did at the same tempo.
Yeah.
But as you say, like then at some point they're gonna forget about like themselves in the process, or enjoy doing the process maybe.
Yeah.
So what if you're standing with like a talented boxer and you know they have it in them, and they are like they have this drive as you had. How do you control it so they remember, like so they enjoy doing the way also, and it's not going too fast for them?
Yeah, it's always hard when someone has that drive, because you don't want to like stop it, but you want to like encourage it, but you also want to like, how you say, control it a little bit, so it's not gets too far. But I try to always like talk to my boxers and remind them. I try to keep like a close relationship, that it's like, and how you say, they can come to me with whatever it is, and to like talk about how it is to like box on an international level, and like make them understand where they are in the process all the time. So it's like realistic, so they don't think that they are better than they are, or less better than they are. So they're always like know where they are. But it's hard. It was hard for me too, because
You also, we ask you to bring something that have a story or like meaning for you. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes you like freeze on my screen, so I'm like, okay,
I see.
I'm so sad that you are like, falling out of the chat. So you brought something, or you didn't, but you have a story to tell.
Yeah, I have a story to tell, but I didn't brought something. But I think my first or my how you say success that meant the most for me was when I took my first medal at the Swedish Championships, but that was a silver. But it meant much for me because I didn't saw that I was going to be in the final when I went there, and then I got to the final. And I lost to actually one of my club mates. So, but she was better than me. So yeah, I was really happy with the silver. And that was also when I first time got selected to the national team after that. So that's one of my that was also when I started believing in myself more, that I can do it. I think I can do this. So yeah, then I took 3 more silver after that, but I'm not so happy with that.
But I think sometimes it is like, sometimes you're happy with a silver medal, but you can also be like not happy for gold medal. I have a happy for, because I didn't perform as I expected.
It's always with that, but that time when I took the silver, I really performed. So that was also when I was happy.
I think that's a big lesson for also the kids and the people in general, the box, that it's not about the medal, it's about, the performance and how they felt in the ring. Because the thing in boxing is like, you only 2 people, there's always 1 loser and 1 winner. It's not like in football where you can play more fights during a tournament. You only have this fight, and if you don't win, you're not going further. So it is like consequence in boxing, and it's a really hard game. So I think it's important also as a coach to make the boxers go for the experience in the ring and how they perform in the medals.
Yeah, it is, because it's really tough in like the draw system. you can like get the best in the first fight and then you're out. So, but then also if you want to be the best, you need to hit the best. So that's
exactly.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's not always fair.
No, no. It's not. How did you deal with losing that time you boxed?
It always was about my performance. If I performed good, I could be happy with the loss. But if I didn't perform good, I could be really like, a crybaby. I was like,
but how did you come then?
Huh?
How did you came over the bad performing?
I think only with like continue. I was like, okay, if I didn't perform good, I could be like, mad at myself for like some hours after the fight. But then I just let it go and continue. Because sometimes you don't perform. It's like, it's many things that needs to be right at one moment in boxing. So,
What about, how do you take that experience with you into the boxers today? Now you are a coach.
Also like talk to them about it, make them understand that don't take everything like so serious always, because there are new fights, and this fight, like if they do a bad performance today, there's always a new possibility tomorrow or another time. So just shake it off.
Like I asked you a lot of questions about this, like how you can take your experience from being a boxer into being a coach to the one you're coaching. But there came also like actually a good question from Girls Can Box, and they're asking you like, how do you prepare as a coach for a competition? Because you're talking about how do you prepare a boxer, but how do you prepare yourself for a competition?
Yeah, I prepare myself like almost like I did when I was a boxer, but not like I don't do a warm up or things like that. but I'm really like thinking in my head before what I need to, what's important for me to do. I also talk with the boxer, what they want, and what they need. It's like different when I coach my boxers at the club that I've known for many years, and when I coach the girls in the national team, because sometimes it's like girls that maybe I have for the first time in the corner.
Yeah.
So it's really important for me to ask them what they need from me, because I can't coach everyone the same, because everyone is not the same. So, so that's really important for me. So I ask them what they need. And if they're like my boxers that I already know, I try to like, go in that mood that I need to be to coach that boxer. So I'm also prepared. And I try to like calm myself, because I'm also nervous as a coach, and I get like an adrenaline rush, sometimes even more. So I try to like control myself so I don't show that to my boxers, because they need to see me as like calm, so they keep calm. So I work a lot with like, what is it called? Like
mindfulness.
And self-talk. Kept myself in my head, and like remind myself what I need to do. And then also, of course, if I look up information about the boxer that we're gonna fight, and think about some tactics and go through with my boxers and all that also, of course. But I think I focus a lot on being in the right mood, depending on which boxer I'm gonna coach.
Of course,
so they get what they need.
Do you have, when you were boxing, did you have something you had to do in like kind of order before you could go in box?
No, I didn't have anything like that, because it's like sometimes things happen in boxing that you can't control. So I wanted to have like as less as possible to do. But I had like some rituals that I did, like always when I started my warm up, I started like putting my game focus on like 2 hours before. But before that, I was like, if I was at a competition, I was like, hanging with my friends and going out, watching fights and do all that and not focus on the fight. So I started my focus like 2 hours before. And then when I started my warm up, I started with listening to music before I like started to the real warm up. So I started like warm up mentally before I warmed up physically. But nothing like else like that I needed to have like a special pair of socks or like putting the left, nothing like that.
That is the funniest thing people are doing in boxing, like rituals. But
so I had one thing. I wanted to have my mouth gear in the fight before. That was really important. But that's the only thing. But that's a thing that I can't control. I can't put it in before. So
yes,
yeah.
So you don't have any rituals now when you're out as a coach before a fight or something?
No, not like that. I try to like not have it because often in boxing it doesn't go like planned. So it will be very stressy if you have rituals that you're not being able to do.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Nice. Do you see any like challenges or benefits of being a female boxing coach?
Yeah, for me, I'm from like an environment in Höllviken that has always been supportive of like women boxers and women coaches and all that. So for me, I've never had like a hard time being listened to or get respected. And the same in the Swedish national team since day one. They've always believed in me and encouraged me, and they get me the opportunity to do what I believe in. But if you like, sometimes when I go out on competitions, I see some of the male coaches. They're like looking at me like I'm just a little girl, and they ask me if I'm a boxer. So I think for them it's maybe a bit weird that I'm so young, and I'm a coach for the national team. But for me, I've always been like, I've had a good support being a female coach, and I'm really happy for that because I know that it's not like that everywhere, but it should be like that everywhere. So I think if I can be like, like a role model for others to believe in themselves to do that, I would be really honored. Because for me, it shouldn't be any difference if you're a boy or a girl. Like, shouldn't be difference at all.
Exactly. So then, what about? I was thinking when I was with you in Sweden at the training camp in Boson. Many of the girls, you have the youth and junior, I know, but there was many of the senior girls. You were boxing at the national team with them at the same time.
Yeah.
And when you're a coach, you will also like be around them at some point. How is it how do they think about having you as a coach when you were also a teammate just like a few years before?
Yeah, in the beginning, for me, it was a bit strange to like, have find my role in that. But they have also been really supportive. And I've actually coached many of them now after that in competitions, because sometimes we are at competitions together with the junior, youth, and elite boxers. And it hasn't been anything weird about it. So it just felt a bit weird in the beginning, but they have been really like supportive, and hasn't been any problem. So yeah.
And what about guys? When you're coaching guys and you are like a female boxing coach, is there anything that they question you because you're a woman or anything like that?
No, or sometimes when we go to, like, if I'm with my club and we go to other clubs and have sparring or something, if I'm gonna like go in and say something to the other club's boxer, they can be a bit like, what the fuck, who are you? So I've experienced that a lot from other clubs, especially for like younger boys that are not like maybe used to having female coaches. But like in my club, the most of my boxers at the club are boys, and for them it's like natural. I think they feel really like safe with me in the corner because they know that I'm there for them, and it's like you get almost like a family relationship with your boxers. So you get to know them, and you're there for them both in boxing and in the private life.
Mm-hmm. So what is the benefit of being a female boxing coach?
I think that you can be a bit softer, and you know how to know how to be in different situations. Sometimes you need to be a bit hard, and sometimes you need to be a bit soft, and that you can feel when you have to be which part of it. So I think that we're a bit better on like seeing that and adjust to the situations. So I think that
when you see it like a talent, what is a talent for you in a boxer?
A talent for me is someone that wants to be the best they can be. You can like see that they have this drive and energy that they always want to learn more and more. And of course, talent is someone that understands boxing easily and all that. But it's not all. You also need to have the drive and the motivation. But I think you can see it when you see someone that like really wants to become better all the time.
Yeah.
That's a talent.
So you're both like looking at like a mental aspect, but also like a technical.
But I think most the mental part, because you need to have the mental parts to be better at the other parts. Because like I said before, it takes time, and you need to like be prepared to take the time if you want to be the best, or if you want to compete. So the mental part is like I think the most important part in boxing. So yeah.
Can you just put some more on the mental part in boxing? Because you are reading, you are studying also.
Yeah.
And I know that you are a lot interested in the mindset and things like this. Can you put some words on that in boxing and how you work with it?
How I work with it myself or with my boxers?
As a coach.
As a coach. Yeah, it's like the mental part is really important in boxing, and like especially when you're gonna go into the ring and there's another person wants to hit you, and you know it's gonna be tough. You know it's gonna be like hard. You can feel pain, and you're gonna get tired. And it's like important that you're mentally tough, and that is something you can improve and work on with different like strategies. But then you also need to know the person and what they need, because I see it like this, that some people need to how can you say? Some people needs to chill a bit, and some people needs to how you say in Swedish, tagga till.
What?
Tagga till, like get like a bit excited.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or a bit like, maybe a bit not angry, but a bit like for me, it was like, I see myself as like a nice person. Sometimes I'm a bit like too nice. So for me, when I enter the ring, I need to be a bit bad, if you understand what I mean. And some people are like maybe a bit like too bad, and they can get like angry and lose control and all that. So they need to like learn how to control their emotions, so not let them get take over. So when I work with different boxers, I try to like understand the person and what they need, because you need like different things. And also like in the ring, you can be whatever you want. It's like a performance. So you can work a lot with the mental things.
Yeah. Nice. What is your philosophy as a boxing coach?
Yeah, it's a big question. But yeah, I believe in like I said, much about the mental things. And then like, if you see like boxing, I'm really interested in the tactics. And that's for me like the most interesting part, and like the small things that can make a big difference. So, and also I try to see the strength in the person that I'm training, and then improve that instead of like teaching everyone the same. It's important to have like have the basics, and that of course is the same for everyone. But then it's important to like make everyone developing in their own style and how they want to box. But then I also think it's very important to manage different styles of boxing, because when you compete in the amateur boxing, you always fight different opponents, and some boxers are offensive and some are defensive, and you need to like be able to change your own style to fight everyone. So everything you learn is good, and you should bring it with you, and then you should do what it takes in every situation, so you can be able to change your boxing. Yeah. So that's a little thing about it. But of course, it's more, but it's hard to like describe everything like a short time.
But I think that's a nice part, because we also had like a long talk when I was in Sweden, and we are all so different as coaches, but we want the same, and we can really learn a lot from each other. Like you have this, like you're really strong in your tactical part, and I like a lot the mental part, and I can learn a lot from you in the tactical part.
Of course.
And I think it's important that these few female coaches there is around in the world that really want this, that at some point they kind of connect with each other.
It is.
Because it can be lonely as a woman as a boxing coach if you don't have the surrounding, the supporting you. You have, luckily, both from the Swedish national team and your club, but there's many women out there that don't have that support. And
I know.
if you don't have that support, they're not be able to shine at the same level.
No, I know. That is really important, and I also think that's a big importance for having more female boxers as well, because I think that they feel like more safe with having female coaches as well, and that it's like an even environment for everyone, and not just like male dominated. So that it's important for many things, actually.
I just wrote an article that was posted in Canada, and it was not like directly about boxing, but it was like girls or women in sport in general. And many of them, when they become teenagers, they are not doing sports anymore, or they are not doing it on a competition level.
Yeah.
And they say some of the things that they figured out was that they girls need role models.
Yeah.
In the sport, they need more women. to talk with. And another part was also no, I forgot it. It was just there. But one of them was definitely this like part of being having role models.
Yeah.
I lost the
but I think that is really important, of course. And also, like I told in the beginning, for my career, that I came to an environment with other girls wanting the same thing and competing at a high level. And that's also really important because, like, for now in Sweden, my goal that I have with the national team girls is to make them meet each other many times a year, because they're often like alone at their club, and then they are really good alone, and they have no one nearby to like train with. So they need like opportunities to meet and hang around with other people that are like wants the same thing. That's really important. Like the environment is really important, and like having other also like role models, because for me I had Patricia Berghult in Höllviken that I trained with from the beginning, and she was really like nice to me in the beginning. She didn't like knock me out, even if she could. So I also like improved a lot of having her. And also when I went out internationally, I knew that, okay, I'm prepared, because I'm like both mentally prepared and physically prepared, because I've sparred with her at the club. So I know it's not going to be harder than that. So that's also really important. So it's the same for like women coaches. It's only few of us, and we should like cooperate, because it's it's power in a team and not just in one person. And like you said, we could learn from each other and use each other's strengths to become better. That's a big philosophy that I have. Also, that
exactly, and
it's power in a team. You should do what you're good at.
That's like when you are a boxer and you go spar with another one. You're helping each other to lift each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how we should do it as coaches too. I think.
Yeah.
There's nothing that is a secret. I mean.
No.
So
and
I have a few more questions.
If I get better, you get better, and if you get better,
exactly.
I get better. So you need to have that. You need to think like that if you want to become the best. I always used to say that when you talk about like what is it called, konkurrens. It's like if you don't want to like fight each other because you're like concurrents, it doesn't matter. It's always one that's gonna win anyway, even if you cooperate or not. But if you cooperate, both are gonna be better, but one is still gonna win. So what is the difference with not cooperating and cooperating? It's better to cooperate. One is still gonna win. So, but both will win on it.
And I think it was like a clear picture when you talked about the thing with Patricia, because it was like the best of the best in Sweden at that point when you started there, and she could decide to punch you out. But if she would do that, she wouldn't get the benefits from helping you to grow and be good, so you could help her.
No, exactly, because in the end I also helped her, so it was like a win-win for both. So
I have a few more questions, because in 5 minutes they will close us out. So how would your boxer describe you?
My boxers? You mean from the club or from the national team?
You can first take the club, and then we'll take the national team after.
The boxers from the club, they know me like for many years. So, but I think if you submit it like short, I think they both, or
3 words from
all the boxers describe me as that I'm very caring. I care for them. I'm a good, like, I'm calm, and I try to adjust to every person. I talked about before, that you can't coach everyone the same. I try to like listen to what the boxer need. And 3, that I'm funny.
Yeah.
If you have fun, you will perform better. I think so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's also, if you have fun, it's also force the boxers to be in the moment.
Yeah.
That they cannot drift away in their head and be curious or be nervous about the fight.
Exactly. I try to make them feel like calm and like, that they're having a good time and not be so tense. So not like let the nervousness take over. So I use a lot of humor also in my coaching.
What about 3 words from the national team girls?
I think it's almost the same. It is, I should say. I think they should say that I'm fair. I try to always like be fair and have an open communication, because when I was a boxer in the national team, I didn't think that I got like how you say, a good communication. I didn't know what the national team thought about me, and I didn't know what the next competition was going to be and all that, and where they thought that my level was. So that's really important for me, that I want the boxers in the national team feel safe with like what I think about them and where they stand and what's the next thing's going to be and all that. So I try to be very fair and try to communicate a lot. It's better to tell more than less. So it's like an open climate. There's no secrets. So, and I've heard from them that it's very like appreciated that it's like that. So they know what's happening.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I have one question, and then I have like a few fast questions. So
okay.
This question, like, you have to be a bit fast. There's 3 minutes back. So what is your goal as a boxing coach?
My goal as a boxing coach is to make people become their best. To see that they can do it. Yeah. Nice.
And then some fast questions.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to think of it. You just have to answer.
Yeah. Okay.
So, blue or red corner?
Red.
Meat or vegetables?
I don't know. Both.
What did you say?
Both, I think.
I think you cannot say that.
Okay, vegetables.
Okay. Being a boxer or being a boxing coach?
Boxing coach.
Do you rather want to live on the countryside or in the city life?
City life, for now.
Pro or amateur?
Amateur.
Your younger you or your older you?
My older me.
What do you say?
My older me.
Okay. Mind or body?
Mind.
Nocco or coffee?
Nocco.
I didn't remember the other ones you were drinking.
Celsius.
Yes. Yeah. So that was the one I meant, but I had to write because that was the only one I knew. Okay, so do you rather want to set goals or go with the flow?
Yeah, set goals, but sometimes you also need to go with the flow. So I'm a bit in between. But of course, set goals. Planning is everything. Yeah.
Talent or hard work?
Hard work.
Superman or Batman?
Superman. I don't know.
No. That was the wrong question. The wrong answer.
I don't know. Same.
Okay. It was, do you have something like, if there's sitting somebody and listening, is there something you could say or do you have something to say in the end? It's like 20 seconds back.
I encourage everyone to believe in themselves, and if they want to do something, they should do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lina.
Thank you.